Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ask Seth, Grappling with Grammar. Today, I'm enjoying a beautiful day here in Almaty, the first snow of the season that we've had, and we'll see how long it lasts, see how it goes. Today, I'm going to be discussing a lot of issues that have been a lot of teachers have asked me about, which is grammar, how to best teach grammar. And this can be blended learning, this can be online, this can be in person, but lots of different difficulties that a lot of people are having. And so today we'll focus on some of the strategies that you can do to help your students with grammar. First thing I want to clarify, grammar cannot be taught in a vacuum. Now, when somebody says it can't be taught in a vacuum, they don't mean like a vacuum for cleaning materials and things like that, but they're talking about a vacuum like the vacuum of space. It can't be taught in a void, in emptiness. You have to have some substance, something to connect it with, some real life, real world experience. So, for example, with grammar teaching, lecturing every once in a while might be important, but you want to do a minimal amount of it. So like we see in the middle picture there, you don't want to do that too often because that is not normally the best way for the students to learn and actually understand the concepts. They have to have hands-on experiences. They have to have real life learning experiences, and it has to be an active style classroom like we see in the other slides. Another aspect of grammar in particular that I want to cover is that grammar relates with patterns. It's all about patterns. You want your students to see what is happening without explicitly telling them necessarily. Sometimes you may need to for more complex grammar topics, but you want them to try to figure out the patterns on their own. Let the students discover the pattern. For example, you can see here I have today I walk, yesterday I walked, today I lift, yesterday I lifted. Have the students figure out, what do you see? What are the similarities here? What's the same and different between these different sentences, and see if they can figure out the pattern. Now, granted, this one is a fairly easy one, and it's not talking about irregular verbs and so on, but it's the same idea. When a student or students in your classroom can figure out the concept for themselves and then explain it to other students, they get that concept a lot more, and it really helps. So show, don't tell. So today I want to go over one concept that can be a little difficult for some, and that's the past continuous, also known as the past progressive tense. And once again, I am always of the opinion that it's not as important that my students know what the names of the grammar rules are or tenses are, as long as they can use them in context and understand them in context. To me, that is the most important aspect. You will hear this referred to as both the past continuous and the past progressive, but make sure that they understand what's happening and how it works. So it's an interrupted action in the past. We use the past continuous to indicate that there is a longer action in the past that was interrupted. Okay, self-explanatory a little bit there. So examples here. I was watching TV when Jim knocked on the door. So you have a long action that's interrupted by a short action. And so I want you to think about, what would you do in your classroom to go over this? So what would be the best way to teach this in your class? What do you think? Worksheets, notebook writing, um, maybe drills. What do you think would work the best for you? So take a minute and think about that. What would you do to teach this idea in your class? So here is a possible another option that you might be able to use. The grammar selfie challenge. So you take 2 selfies with a partner, and you have students do this, and you can do this at most grade levels depending on the equipment that you have. You might have drawings instead of actually having a phone or picture with you if you're going to have the younger students. But this works really great with most secondary level students. So you have them do an event one that they should do with they take a selfie with a partner of something that's happening, something that's in progress. Then they record an interruption to that event, okay? A picture of an interruption that happened there. So here's an example of one here. The girl had been scooping cookie dough when her dad started to help. Jake had been confessing his love to Jessica when Jean overheard and told everyone. Fifi had been drinking coffee when Mike knocked over her cup. So we can also use this to make things a little more explicit for higher level learners if we wanted. So we could do a second example here. Fifi had been drinking a steaming cup of coffee when Mike knocked over her cup while reaching for his book, to just make it a little bit higher for those higher level learners. Now, thank you. I hope that this is a strategy that might be able to work for you. You notice that the students are a little bit more engaged in this. The students can work together to try to understand it instead of just copying down notes or doing worksheets, which do have their time and place. This activity can get students up and about, and it's good for online and it's good for in-person. Both aspects will work with this. I really hope that this presentation will be useful for you. Please let me know if there's any other specific grammar strategies that you might like to know. I know this was a shorter one. This is an intro right now, just to kind of give us an idea and a starting point. And I hope you join me next time for Ask Seth, Grappling with Grammar.